Ismail Pardali worked with the U.S. military in Afghanistan for several years. He was shot in the arm by the Taliban in 2014 and lost a leg to an explosion in 2016. And in August of last year, he joined around 75,000 other Afghans seeking refuge in the United States.
I was injured like 2 times with the U.S. government, working with them, like with U.S. advisors, and they told me that if you go to the U.S., you will get like financial aid. You can get that help from the U.S. government.
But after several months in Austin, Texas, unable to walk very far on his own, he waits in his apartment every day for the very things that will allow him to build a new life, like his Social Security card so that he can apply for food stamps and hopefully find work. Other basics promised to refugees include English lessons and instructions on how to use public transportation. That hasn't happened for Pardali and 2 other refugees VOA spoke to who were in the same U.S. Special Forces unit in Jalalabad in eastern Afghanistan. When Pardali calls the agency that was assigned to him, Refugee Services of Texas, he can't get through, he says.
We don't have a caseworker right now. Nobody is taking care of us right now.
Across the U.S., Afghan refugees are living on military bases or have been placed in homes by refugee agencies assigned to help them adjust. But with an unprecedented number of Afghans arriving suddenly last fall, agencies are struggling to help refugees get resettled, raising the question whether the system in place is sufficient to meet the need. Russell Smith, the CEO of Refugee Services of Texas, who is based in Austin, said he was unaware of the specifics of Pardali's situation and that of the other refugees VOA spoke to, but he said the agency is coping with a high demand.
We are more than double our arrivals in the first 3 months, just in 3 months of this fiscal year. So that hurts me to think that people are kind of falling through the cracks. I know that we're hiring like as fast as we can.
The U.S. refugee resettlement infrastructure has suffered from years of decline during the Trump administration, when federal government funding was cut, said Elizabeth Ferris, a migration policy expert at Georgetown University.
And at the same time, you've got this dramatic increase in numbers, and there's a lot of pressure to move people off the bases into communities quickly. And so it's really putting stress on these local agencies and on the refugees themselves.
Still, she said the situation for the families VOA spoke to is unacceptable.
If the local affiliate doesn't have the capacity, they either need to build that capacity or make other arrangements. I mean, people shouldn't fall through the cracks like that.
Falling through the cracks is what Fazullah Mahmadi feels like he, his wife, and 10 children, including a newborn, have done.
Yeah, just like this house is just like 12 people in it. It's just like we are not like animals, Should be like the same human rights.
He said he was told his rent at $2,300 a month is too high to be eligible for monthly payments that others receive. He's been surviving with food stamps, which a neighbor helped him apply for, and some savings from working with the U.S. military in Afghanistan. He doesn't know who his landlord is, when he is expected to pay bills on his own, and his calls and texts to RST go unanswered. A spokesperson for Refugee Services of Texas disputed this claim and said all families have received multiple cash assistance payments. But he did admit that the agency, which has helped settle 800 Afghans in the area in 4 months, is behind schedule on providing services such as teaching English and learning how to use the bus. Demetrio Alvero is the Director of Operations for the Episcopal Migration Ministries, which receives money from the federal government and distributes it to refugee affiliates such as Refugee Services of Texas.
And there's plenty of money to assist individual families. So what you're describing to me is very inconsistent with the way our affiliates operate. And it would really require us to look into the matter very carefully.
Getting some help and attention is exactly what Mahmadi is hoping for.
So my request is from the government, if they give pay to the different organizations like RST, they have to have like some kind of accountability. They have to see what's going on and what's reality in the ground, They have to check and balance.
Meanwhile, 20,000 more Afghans are on military bases, awaiting to be assigned to cities throughout the U.S. Dina Mitchell for VOA News, Austin, Texas.